Add to reconnect. Let's just. All right, there we go. Let me just reconnect the stream real quick here. Just make sure that everything is good.
It's all good. I think there's more sauce to be spread around from Angeling. So, reader, please do tell us how everything went on your server.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I wasn't here for this woe. And actually, a lot of people from Zenith weren't here for this woe. But from what I heard, is we got a castle, so we're no longer homeless.
That's
Patty,
good.
is the cat out of the bag? Can we just like talk about it?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Cat's out of the bag. We saw it on your stream. We saw it. Come on.
Yeah. Alright, go for it. I try to keep it on the down low for a while there, but
Dude, down low on for what?
no, it's just
we saw you on.
I kind of did.
It's okay.
I slipped a lot on World Chat because like I'm just so used to like being on my account that I probably had like certain mannerisms. It's like somebody pointed out like, yeah, the way you laugh like on World Chat is very specific, and like I don't really know. It's like there's no one in Angel that laughs with like K like so I was like, oh okay. It's okay.
So since Matt's out of the bag now, I'm guessing that you're doing a lot of the shot calling in MIC. Is that correct? I'm gonna be interviewing you on your own server, on your own podcast.
Oh man, can I get an MIC rep in
I'll
here,
be
please?
interviewing you.
Alright, okay.
Are you cross server wooing right now? Is that what it is?
Manually? Yeah.
Wow, thanks for the invite. There's some people who are
my
trying to chase after
God.
that and you don't even say anything.
I can go to porn next week.
Please.
Oh man, but yeah,
Some
I
people
guess
need shot callers over here.
yeah, cat's out of the bag. I guess I've been told that like it's become public knowledge anyway, so it is no point in hiding it. Yeah, I've been shot calling for
MIC,
MIC
I mean,
for the past I think past 3-4 woes, I believe. When was it?
Oh, so you were there for last woe?
What?
For last woe, right?
Yeah, I was there for last woe.
You want to talk about that woe first, and then this woe?
Oh my god. Last woe. Oh yeah. Last woe was like what, the defense, right?
It was you guys defending, and then Zenith us full attacking, right? So
yeah.
So how was that woe for you?
That one was pretty good. I can probably pull up something here. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah.
So there was that one slip up in defense during that whole attack that led to like the breakthrough in the wind tunnel. And I had already pointed it out. I took a screenshot and like circled it, I believe. So let me see. But yeah, so I pointed this one out. I'll put it up on stream here. So it's Moonta, I believe it was. Around like this was like 37 minutes and 15 seconds into the video. So basically, what happened there was that on the left side here, Haro was there, so I put some Numas on that side to try to counter his flank when he got through. But then Moonta over here on this side, I couldn't go here. You can see me here. I'm on Whiplash. You couldn't see me like run fast enough to kind of like Lex Divina. So what happened there was that Munta was able to grab field, die, res, and then was able to grab field again 2 to 3 times. Before she got killed again. So that was the one, probably the one takeaway from that woe. So after that got broken through, I saw it as like a good opportunity to kind of like defend on the second floor. I feel like not everybody defends second floor from what I've seen. So
no, that's what it was obvious. It was you to me because I was shot calling for Zenith at the time. I was like, who the fuck defends second floor in Angeling? I was like, that's a little fatty, dude. It's this guy.
Yeah, no, it was fun though. It was fun. It was like, yeah, it's really good opportunity for them to defend it. It's like, uh they held second floor defense for just a little bit, not as long as I would like, because like it was the first
Yeah.
time they were doing it. They didn't know about like abusing like the ledges and putting like raining AOE's down on the people passing by. So
Yeah.
there was like really no proper setup for that. So they just defended the stairs at the choke point. They did really good on that, held on for as long as they did. And then when it came to the Emp Room, Emp Room was a little bit special because I noticed that you guys like took 9. You went through 9.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you guys went through 9, I was like, okay, just maintain discipline. Just have left side team kind of like take the the choke point on the left side, because like the only my fear that I had there was like if Ski Bunny ends up getting through and lays out an AoE while at our flank, then it becomes a problem, which actually did end up happening. That's why we had to fall back.
Yeah, no, because that's what we were trying to get to.
Yeah,
we were trying to get Ski Bunny through the right side while pressing forward from the center, and Ski Bunny did end up getting through. But I think we wiped just right at your M choke, just right there.
Yeah.
So that was something else.
Yeah. So.
But no, yeah, that was like fun.
Yeah, that was really fun. And then what happened next? It's like we ended up setting up defense on the Imperium. So it was like I guess you could call it like a bit of like a crash course when it comes to like defending Geffen. That was like basic, crash course on the second floor, and then crash course on like the Imperium room, which is like keep it simple. Everybody like stay in the middle in the carpet, so like any AoEs from the sides don't hit us. Basic stuff like that. And then everybody listened. But the thing about it is like, like I said, like it's like any shot calling in the world, it's like it's meaningless if nobody listens. And I think
yes, indeed.
They surprisingly, like I was surprised that probably the main reason why I came back for like as many times as I did after that first woe was because like I noticed how responsive MIC was when it came like to defending and offense and all that. So when I saw that, I was like these are a group of people that I really would love to work with, and to kind of help them improve and help me have fun as well. And
Freddie, what the headcount look like for MIC?
What was that?
What's the headcount look like for MIC?
Headcount for MIC. Looking at the roster,
I think you guys had like 60 or 70 that week. The week we're talking about, I think you guys had 60 or 70, right?
No, it was more like, I'm trying to remember the roster because it was like, because I gave them the template that I have for the my roster. So I'm trying to count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 5.
For the meantime, Reader, what's your
50?
Look like?
Yeah, it's 45 to 50.
For that week, I believe we had around 70 people. I think it was like when I checked the online list, I think it was like 74. So give or take, like that's the max, but probably maybe less because some people are just online and don't actually participate in mode. They're like MVPing or whatever the fuck. But no, I'm serious. Like there's a bunch of people that just like defend the castle and then they just like fucking MVP. But I think that's true for all guilds. And Angeling at least. There's some people that just that can't be bothered doing well.
Yeah, it was 45 to 50. Looking at the template that I have here, yeah, they had 45 to 50 people. So it's basically what you see on the screen here, minus like 2 or 3 people that were on flex, trying to stop Haro and crew from trying to tap the amp or just break the amp. I mean,
that's a pretty healthy.
Yeah. And the thing is, like honestly, 45 to 50 people, if they're disciplined, is more than is plenty, right? And with the right like team composition, right classes, and which is that's why like every week I'm like over here like complimenting like Nehru, because like Nehru made a switch from like being this whole time just being full support in WoW, and all of a sudden like her first war she gets like what 900 kills or something like that.
Yeah, dude, she was like fucking slaying it on her first WoW as like ME priest.
Yeah, and how did that catch like that guys did that catch you guys like off guard? Like It's like, wait, what the hell? It's like
and
Nero's never done this before in WoW.
no, yeah, that caught me off guard. But what caught me off guard more was obviously the shot calling, because as far as I knew, and this isn't like to blow my own horn or anything, but as far as I know, Angeling didn't really have a lot, isn't really known for like a lot of strong shot callers. So I was like primarily doing it on Zenith, and I think a lot of that stuff got passed on to like even my guildmates. So they have like an idea. I think today Vamped, Patches, and Tub shot called because I wasn't there. T-Sun wasn't there and stuff. Like we were missing like some core people.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they got work done. But from your angle, as us as an attacking guild, Zenith, any comments, any criticisms, any praise? Just curious what the opposition has to hear. You know, I just want to hear from shot caller to shot caller. What do you think?
Definitely in that fight, the tenacity was there.
Tenacity.
I would have loved to see a lot more plays being made. I know that you guys have like Harrow, you have everybody trying to get through doing taps. I know Harrow made made a lot of plays on like our flanks there, and eventually like it worked when like Moonta was able to get through. But it's like these like ones and twos that kind of like make these like really game changing plays. But I would like to see more with Zenith. I probably would like to see more of like these like stack plays. What I mean by that is that let's say like I know that you guys always were trying to get through on the I guess on your end was like the left side, which is like the palm tree side. The only thing I saw that you guys do there is that you guys tend to stack a lot on that side. So it made it very easy for me to be like, it's like, hey, Nero, I know you're charged of like the left side, but can you just throw like can you just throw one on the left and then just throw me one ME on the right side there, because I know that they're gonna be they're posturing for a push, right? What another choice, what I would do there personally is I would probably like again speaking from your direction is I would probably do a feint on the right side, and then.
So actually, funny you mentioned that, because that was actually our initial game plan. I'll send you my PowerPoint right now on the Angeling Discord on the Angeling channel.
Okay.
All right, this is how simplistic our plans are coming into this well, and this is the only thing I really gave like leadership was this plan right here. So our idea was to have Haro like draw enough on the right side to get Ski Bunny pass through. But that wasn't working, so I think the second option we had was to just get people to get enough people through using like rosaries and like reses and like running to inner floor. And then at some point I thought someone made the call that we could break Emp, so that's why we kind of like wasted time trying to do that. But eventually that wasn't working. So we made the call with the I think 10 or so people that we had in inner to make a push outwards when T-Sun was pushing in wind tunnels. So then we did like a small pincer, and that's how we were able to break wind tunnel on our side.
Yeah. But yeah, that was off of that was off of that play that was made there. So that was like the only like outlier that I saw there. Repeat. Yep.
Patty, look at my PowerPoint that I posted and tagged for you.
Let me see.
We're pretty organized too. We have some pretty solid plans.
Oh my god. That's called a world tour. But yeah, that like I said, like in that whoa, it's like I saw that like one play, which is like that's really good, right? But that's like the outlier where like the gap in defense, like when it came for MIC, kind of like lagged a bit there, and like an opportunity was taken, which is really good. If you have like those kind of type of players that are playmakers, that's just really good to have, and it kind of speaks to like the quality of players you have in your guild that know to take those opportunities. But in that terms, 100%, I feel like is really good. The only that, but like I said, like I wanted to see more like stack plays where like you know, you don't need to have like that one hero play, because I noticed that um because that play wasn't happening, it made it really easy for me to just go like, hey, it's like I would always like default to Nero because I know like her AoE hurts like hell, and I was like, hey Nero, just like put one AoE there on the right side, and I would explain it as like I feel like within the next like 2 3 seconds they're gonna make a push there and they're gonna make a play. Make it a little subtle, make it like a little bit like a little deep. You don't have to go too deep into like their stack, just like somewhere on the right side, not too deep. Don't risk yourself. And then 2 to 3 seconds later a push would come, and then I'm like, there it goes, and then that's you know um kind of like push straight into like the already stacked AoEs plus one like Nehru's like AoE.
Yeah.
So that's really and that, I mean, that's not where like all her kills are coming from as well. Like I individually, Nehru's just really good at finding these opportunities. Um, she's really good at finding these like gaps in defense. Um, where she can easily kind of assess like if she can get away with like putting an AoE down on this stack and still survive. And the times that I've seen her die is I could probably count on one hand, or two hands or something like that in the past like woes that we've had. So I don't really have any criticism there. It's just something that she kind of has to um, adjust and calibrate as to like what her risk assessment is. Um, but yeah, for the most part, that was a really good part. You have a lot of, I would say, compliment your playmakers is probably what I
Yeah,
would say.
for
It's
sure.
like you have all these playmakers that are geared enough and good enough, at the game or just gaming in general. They like know how to find these gaps in the defenses. Um, and yeah, just compliment them on that. Just play. The best term I could say is probably play around them. When it comes to that, because like
And actually, that's like one of the things I feel like um, is we're working on as a guild right now. Because after that woe, Stashed posted that woe video from Deviling, right? And I think it
oh
was
yeah,
Kenny that was shot calling for Dynasty in that woe.
I think
And what I noticed that Zenith is lacking, and I kind of made this a point because I think we have like the fundamentals down when it comes to like just basic like the basics of woe. I think every member knows that, but I
yeah,
think the thing that we are lacking is like people that feed information. Because like obviously, if it's just like one shot caller, you only see what's like in front of you,
yeah,
which is like one of the reasons why DT Synex is sometimes like hard to shot call from because like you're lurking or you're like behind enemy lines and like doing whatever.
yeah,
So it's hard to see what the actual stack is doing. So right now we're trying to get T Sun as like a secondary shot caller, and like I think we're trying to train up like a couple other people so that we can make more like um complex or like more sophisticated plays besides just like moving as just like one stack. And Vamp also did a really good job of this. He was just calling out, like feeding me information like, oh, I'm at this location. I can tap the amp. Do you want me to tap it? Like I'm at this location, and then like just giving reports of like what he's seeing. And like it's not like
yeah,
he's giving like useful information, and I'm trying to get like everyone else to participate in that because I think the more information you have, the better decisions you're going to make. And that's what I noticed in like Stash's video is that
yeah,
Stash is like himself. He's like a good player. He's proactive. He knows when to lock up a choke. He doesn't need to be told to lock up a choke, and he does it like proactively. He starts putting down quagmires. He starts putting down grab fields,
mm,
and like you don't need people to like tell you to do that. Is what I noticed in like Dynasty's shot calling, which is like half of Panda, of course. So
yeah,
I thought that was like one of the things that we just like need to work on is this, people being comfortable like talking on voice call and not just like everyone on mute except for like me,
yeah,
and
yeah,
feeding information and talking and communicating,
yeah,
because I think that's like our biggest hole right now.
yeah.
And I feel like after we get that panned out, I think we'll be a lot stronger.
Yeah, because you have to look at it and like in like a traditional warfare, kind of like traditional, like I said, like classic warfare, right? It's like if you
Yeah.
have since we're playing in stacks, like let's say like medieval warfare, it's like you have these scouts. If you have scouts and they're not saying anything to you, it's like
Yeah,
how are you
you're
gonna
blind,
know?
right?
Yeah, you're just blind, right? And
You're like blind.
and there's no excuse for it in today's time because like we're all on Discord. It's like you just have to, if you don't want to talk, stream your shit. You know what I mean? If you're not comfortable with like giving out all this information, stream it so I can have an actual visual and actually see like what's happening there, and I can make our calls off of that. And like, do I need to send a flex team over there? Do I need to, it's like, and that's something that like MIC has kind of like started getting comfortable with. It's like I'm pretty sure like somebody, if you ask somebody from MIC, they probably think I'm like a broken record or something like that. Like all my instructions always repeated, and I'm always asking questions. I'm always asking, I'm always asking like, okay, what do you see there? Okay, how many people? A lot. What is a lot? Like, a bunch. What is a bunch? Like 2, 3, 4, 2 parties? Give me an estimate. It's like if because based on like approximation of like an actual number, I can decide what to do next. And and they've been really good at that stuff, and that's one of the reasons why like I continue to try to shot call for them. But yeah,
Good shot callers will always be broken records, but the point is that you're trying to keep them mentally focused and occupied on what the objective is. It's like regardless of what you're saying, even if you're just saying move up one cell or wedge yourself into a corner or calling for a specific movement, as long as you're consistently repeating it to the point that they're actually following it, then you're doing your job as a shot caller.
Yeah, it's all about a call to action. In a way of speaking. Yeah.
But I think that that definitely is like one of those things that we identified as like the thing that we need to work on the most is like just communication. Having people like not all be like we have like 40 to 50 people on voice call, like all just like down the row like muted. And we're obviously like trying to change that by having people like, be comfortable. Like you don't need to talk like that much. You just need to say like, I'm here. I see X amount of people, like I can make this play. Like, do I say yes or no? Like, do I make this play or not? And I think it would just be helpful to have like a secondary person to like shot call as well, because sometimes you kind of tunnel vision on some things, and I know I have this issue is that I definitely like tunnel vision on like certain things, like I believe in the Emp room, I recall this like specifically. I was so focused on getting ski through the back line that I was not paying attention at all, like what was happening in like the middle, and I didn't even know we collapsed. We were like collapsing in the middle. Yeah. So we made like a push there, and then we wiped, and then like we had to reset. And I think that's just like one of those things that that would be helpful if I had like another person in that stack saying like, no, we can't go right now because like this is like the situation in this front, and we need this much parties like to transfer over. And I think that's just like one of the things that I learned from the stashed WoW video is just, people are like just feeding information to like Kenny, who is making like a lot of decisions, and then he just off of like the information that was like said, like he would like make like reasonable and sound like judgments, like, oh, we can take like this push right here. And then like I just noticed that their members are also just like a lot more proactive, and it's obvious that they're experienced in like attacking because they know like which points to secure in the castle. And I think that's just like comes with experience. So we're trying to work on that right now.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like one of the things that like I noticed about last week is that like I didn't know that you guys like went for like full commit. Like we either get this or we don't get a castle. And I was like I was
that's
like,
what we went for.
Yeah, I was like, that's a lot. You guys got a lot of respect from me for that because that's what you need. That's what you need to do. It's like, it's like if you have something to lose, then you have, you kind of have that motivation to do what needs to be done. And yeah, that definitely, I was like, damn, Zenith. All right. You guys are dangerous.
Yeah. Because I think actually Synergy and Kaizoku were kind enough to like keep Skogul an option for us, and then we had like I think 20 minutes. We broke Wind Tunnel with 20 minutes left, and we could have turned and like taken Skogul and like just sat there and like PD'd, right? Yeah. Like that probably would have happened, but I mean, I think that we're not going to learn anything off of that, and you know,
Yeah.
like it's not going to show anything if we like break wind tunnel, which was like something that was like that was a goal of ours, was like to break that. That's why like most of our plan revolved around just like breaking wind tunnel at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we just wanted obviously like an interesting woe, and we are planning to eventually like be an attack guild and all this stuff, but we're not gonna just, you know, turn around and say like, okay, yeah, we'll take Skogul. We can't beat MIC. Like, you can't let that mentality get to us. And I was like
100%.
ready to be castleless for that week, and we did end up being castleless for that week because we fought MIC all the way down to the last minute, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, and it just takes like that additional layer of shot calling and kind of like pre-prep, I guess, for your guild to kind of like know what to do in these situations, right? It's like that's one of the things that like I did with MIC was I prepped everything when it comes to like, you know, the template for grouping, what left side right side is, you know, kind of like let them know in advance what the role is, where they are in the stack, where they should always be in the stack, where they should be putting down AoEs, where they should be like, you know, carpeting the AoEs like up front or up back. And as soon as like everybody kind of like recognizes that and everybody started doing it, then the offense like got really smooth. Like, I know somebody asked like what happened about this Sunday. Whoa, was that we actually ended up attacking, I believe, attacking every castle this week with MIC.
Did you guys?
Yeah.
You guys went on an Angeling World Tour.
We went. Yeah, we went on a world tour. Like went on a world tour, gave away castles, and then got, I believe we went from Berga to, we took Isnerf. Isnerf? I don't know.
Isnerf. Oh, that's the RIP synergy.
You gotta be honest though, like it gets boring once you hunker up into a single guild. It's like you're waiting for action, and then if you realize that the people you're facing know that they're not going to win, they're just not going to try anymore.
Yeah.
And it
no, I mean, like, yeah, I think that's true, but I think the thing in Angeling that's special right now is that MIC and Zenith are like actual competition, I believe. Like, I could literally I could imagine any week like one guild losing to the other.
So nobody cares about the castle then? Is that the case?
I'm not saying that we don't want a castle. I definitely wouldn't want to like go consecutive weeks, because I think Fatty talked about this like weeks ago. Like, you don't want to be like the only guild that keeps like losing every week, right? And
what's your definition of losing?
Just being castleless. Like, some people just honestly care about like having a castle. Like, I personally don't care if we don't have a castle because I barely log on anyway, so I don't log on for GD or like
it points
do
to
the City Lords, whatever.
It points to like two things, right? It points to like the fact that like you kind of need a castle for your cogs. If you don't have cogs and you're not performing at optimal, you know, it's so, you know, in that regard alone, it's like kind of like you kind of still want a castle, and you don't want to go too long for, you know, just to have a castle.
Too long without a castle, right?
The only time that we ever did that with Dynasty is because we were encouraging a lot of the small guilds to you know, to kind of like come to WoW. So we basically like ran down a list of like small guilds, and then we gave them all castles every week at the expense of us. And then eventually, when everybody was, you know, had their own taste, it's like, all right, like do with that as you will. We're gonna start taking castles again, and that's what happened there. But that was the only time.
The small guilds is pretty good, because the small guilds who are like filled with F2P people, those mats that you can get from those guild houses, like being able to acquire blessed stones quicker, is definitely big and advantageous.
Oh yeah.
But then you also talk from the side of, let's say, for example, the more privileged standpoint of people who either spend or have the numbers or the organization. It's kind of like, are we just getting a castle for the sake of saying that you have a castle and you're trying to stay on top of ranks?
Yeah.
Or are you really chasing after the action? Because like in our server, it's like, okay, we've never not had a castle. Now we just want to go chase after the action, so we're just moving around. But
you don't want to get lulled into that sense of like
competition over there is pretty nice.
Yeah, because like when you get lulled into that sense of comfort, and you just like are fine with just having a castle, and you know, it's like you forget how to defend, because like you haven't had a tough defense in like in weeks, because people generally just don't go to that castle because you've just always had it, right? And then all of a sudden, like, you lose a castle, and then you're like your guild's in shambles, and it's like, what do we do now? Like, how do we attack again? It's like, well, what's what's an attack? It's like, what are the choke points? Like, what's a choke point?
Yeah.
And you know, and I think this is the first week that what's that guild called? Synergy?
Yeah, Synergy is what the one in his name.
Yeah, does not have a castle.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that's the first. So it's gonna be like a test for them going into next week. So like, see what they, you know, see what they want to do.
Sounds like every Angeling guild has lost their castle at some point now, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the thing about Zenith that back to like Maven's point is that we do chase the action, because when we first took Fade Green and I first went on like Fatty's podcast when like we took that MIC and whatever, we were doing the same exact thing we did last week, where we were ready to be castleless if we did not get it. Like, we didn't wait for like some PD. We all like went like 19-0-0. We were at MIC's door. We didn't back down. If we like, I think we actually ended up taking that castle with 10 minutes left. So I think every castle at that point was PD'd. So it was like do or die, you know? Like, if we're attacking, we're full committing. We're not like, if we lose that woe, we'll lose like in grace, you know? Like, we're not gonna say like, oh, you know, we'll just take this other castle and like console ourselves that we won, because that's not like actually like teaching you anything. I think.
Right.
I think
Failing
that
in clutch moments doesn't teach you anything. And
Yeah.
sorry, I don't mean to sound offensive. I wasn't doubting if like you guys were focused on trying to get castles or if you were chasing after the action. My only point was because it's weird how certain shot callers will make their decisions that is highly motivated by the castle. It's kind of like, okay, are we tight on time? Are we trying to extend the timer, or are we trying to take fights? Because in our server, it's really weird. It's like some of these guilds see a victory in being able to tap an Imperium, for example. And while it is valuable to be able to extend the time, it's like, okay, but like, if you can't take fights, tapping the Imperium just to extend the timer is pretty useless, don't you agree?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that actually that I'll admit it that for a while before we took Fade Green, we did take small victories in like just tapping a castle, right? But eventually, like, obviously that doesn't really like mean anything, because did you actually win? Or like, did you actually like take those fights and like beat them stack on stack? You didn't. You just like popped a rosary, like did a backslide, and then and then just like tapped the amp. And I mean, like, I think we have I think it's been shown that it's pretty easy to tap an amp. Like, sometimes you can have like really good defense, and then there's just like nothing you can do about like someone with like 5-second invulnerability like walking to your amp and like tapping it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think in that regard that it could be like a victory for some people, but ultimately, like, to your point, you didn't take those fights. You didn't win those fights. You didn't really do anything besides like popping a rosary and like tapping the amp. So
I mean, you could translate the tap into being able to extend the timer so that you can eventually wipe the guild and take the Imperium. But I think it's like a step-by-step process that you should look at, right? Like, do we have enough time on the timer in order for us to take a fight and secure the Imperium? Are we tapping just for the sake of tapping because you just want to be able to go in there and reset the timer? Because if you are the defending guild, it definitely does change your decision making. For example, if you're defending and you know that you have somebody that you want to attack or you want to help, and then you realize that you can't leave because you have your castle still open and it's open for taking, it kind of like helps you with making a decision in how you want to allocate resources in order for you to either attack or defend or, move from there. So
for sure.
Don't discredit yourself if you're just chasing after a tap at first, because from what I'm hearing from you, your guild has grown drastically to the point where now you're taking the fights. Start somewhere, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, like eventually, because to me, as like, like I said, I don't personally care about the castle so much. I barely benefit from it. But like I said, it's also guild morale, right? That you have a castle, like, you don't want to be like the only like eventually people are going to doubt your ability if you like every week, even though it was a good woe fight. Like we got every, like, let's say for like the next 3 woes, we got to like MIC's Imperium. Like, oh guys, we're so close. We'll get it next week. Like eventually that's going to, fall in like deaf ears, and like, people are going to like, well, we keep getting this close, but we're not translating it to anything. So I think it's important. It's like a balance between the two. And I'm not saying that we're going to sit on, I honestly don't know. I think we got Burger. I don't know. I wasn't there that well.
Burger? Yeah.
Yeah. So you best believe that we'll be heading to Isnerf at some point.
Let's go.
Let's go. We're not planning to just like sit on our laurels and just, call it a win that we have like a gap or we're sitting on a castle, because I think for Zenith, we got a resurgence in WoW attendance actually. Like now we're like 60 to 70 again, when we had like a slight dip because we were more focused on the attacking. I think for a while we were like the most active guild in terms of like attacking castles. So I think people just love action, but they also love having the benefits of a castle. So it's like a balance between those two things. And most of the time I don't decide what we do for that week for WoW. I have some input in it, but obviously I'm not making like all the guild calls on what we should be doing like every WoW. But I do think that most of our leadership is of the same mindset that, yeah, attacking is fun. This is something that we want to do, and we want to get better at it. So we'll definitely be meeting MIC very soon, I believe.
Keep attacking until your people develop that aggressive mentality and being like super synergistic with the team, not just playing their role based off, oh, I'm a high wizard, just cast gravity or something like that.
Yeah,
if everyone's slowly learning their role, even if you're not winning a castle, you're slowly teaching them to work as a guild, and I think that's always a win in my books.
Yeah, because eventually if you want to be that guild that like just can go around, be confident that you can go attack and still have a castle at the end of it, while, kind of like reaching that goal that you wanted to take this castle from this guild, you kind of have to do that, right? It's like you're not gonna get there just by hoping. You know what I mean? Like you actually have to.
You're not gonna get there by just sitting on your castle and saying like, "Yeah, I could do this."
Yeah,
but right? You're not actually doing it.
Like if you're in the castle talking shit and like you're not actually doing it, and like in your regard, right? It's like if because like for example, like what happened last week, it's like what could we do? It's like now you know, right? It's like before you didn't, but now you know that like, oh, this is what we were lacking. Let's do this next time. So next time that you do it, the same result that happened there would not happen, and then you'd have a better push, and then just overall actually like be able to take that castle, because that was a really close fight.
Thank you. That was a really close fight, and it was like at some point that at first I thought that you were like doing scrims and deviling, but as soon as I saw the floor 2 defense, I was like, there's no fucking way, dude. This guy is woeing and angeling right now. It's like, it's still a fatty in the back of my mind. But yeah, I think that was like one of the things that I most enjoyed is like seeing you. I know some of my guildmates aren't happy about you.
Oh god.
But personally to me, I don't mind. I think it's like great. I think that it feels good for me to shot call against someone else that's like that knows what they're doing, because then it exposes my flaws, and then I'm like, oh, I can work on this better, and like, oh, I see now that this is like the wrong call, like obviously that was never going to work, and like hindsight and like adjust, right?
Yeah.
So it gives me like better information for like future woes.
Yeah. Because the thing is
on like, what to do. So
from what I noticed, like from me personally, right? Which when I started first shot calling in like R1 was that like there were certain things where like I felt like I did right, and I then come to notice it's like
it was actually shit, right? Like that was me too, because I was like, oh man, everything I'm saying is like gold. It just like keeps working, and then you go against someone that actually knows what they're doing too, and then like, no, it's not everything that they're doing is gold. Like some of it is actually shit.
Yeah, and then you get exposed, and that's how I felt. I was like, that always works. It's like, why isn't that working out? It's like, is nobody like doing their jobs? And then you kind of find out that it's like no, you've just been getting away with it this whole time. Now that somebody who knows what they're doing comes into the picture, and they see what you're doing, and they were like, "What the fuck is this guy doing? All right, do this," and it fully destroys you. And then it's just like that. Just means that at that point in time, like myself, like I got exposed, and then I watched the VOD, and I'm like, okay, yeah,
Damn, that was a dumb idea. Yeah,
yeah, that was not the best.
Like no way that was gonna work.
It wasn't the guild. It was me. It was my shot calling.
A lot of
that's how I felt that last flow.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Maven. Sorry, I was just agreeing that that's how I felt too.
A lot of the older RO veterans would probably agree with the old saying where if you played with really bad people, you'll get bad too. Not sure if you guys feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like if you play with people who are disorganized, you tend to have really scrappy tactics because you know you're going to get away with it.
Yeah.
And then once you transition back to fighting people who are really, really good and who are really organized, it's like, yeah, you can't pull that stuff anymore. So
yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I call just like developing bad habits. And that's why like for example, right? Like I'm playing, for example, like when I'm playing like a different game, like for example right now I'm playing Noah's Heart, right? I actually scouted like all these other guilds in the Discord server. I kept posting like, hey, anybody want to be competitive? Anybody want to be competitive? You guys want to go to a specific server and we can all compete? Not a single guild replied, bro. Not a single guild replied.
Yeah,
I had to snipe them. I had to snipe them. And I was like, oh my god, man, nobody wants to fight. Nobody wants competition. They just want to be like, oh, we own the server. And then and they just want to say like, oh yeah, we were at the top of our server. It's like there's no point in saying that if you're not competing with the best.
Learn anything.
Yeah.
Like it's more satisfying. Like what was just more exciting if like it's not a curb stomp and there's actually like resistance and you're seeing like some of your like plans fail just because like it teaches you something first of all, and then second, like it shows you that you're not like you're not who you think you're cracked out to be, like that was definitely like a humbling experience for me. Like last week was that like, yeah, damn, we fucking lost because I made like some poor decisions. I didn't make certain calls like fast enough. I wasn't communicating as best as I could be, like it just showed me like there's definitely still like a lot to learn, because Rue, I believe, is like the first game where I actively shot called. In ROM I was more like feeding information. I wasn't like the primary shot caller for Tarot at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even close to like being in a shot calling role in that game, but I learned a lot from there. So in Angeling I had like a sense and I brought that to Zenith. And for a while, obviously, it was like going pretty well until Little Fatty came along and exposed me. So I do have some gratitude towards that personally for me, because like it shows me that there's like just stuff that I could be. Where's that from? Oh, sorry. I saw that screenshot. Holy fuck.
No, but yeah, it's like it's a fun experience for sure. It's like the only thing is like the only thing about like that I learned personally, like in order to like improve as a shot caller, because like I always have the mentality, right? I always have that mentality of like I've been shot calling for years in different games. It's like what could this guy possibly like teach me, like for example, right? And then it's always like I have to realize that like every game has its own nuances and its own differences, and I kind of have to always 100% just always set my ego aside, because it's like,
yeah,
I always keep the mentality that I still have a lot to learn. So like whenever it's like, I think I forgot which WoW it was that I think we were going up against Zenith. I forgot what it was. I can't really recall right away, but it was always like I saw that and I was like, huh, interesting. So maybe we should try that next time. And then to me that was like I kind of have to. I came in with like the confidence of like I know how to shot call. Let's do it this way. And then somebody, I think something you did, and I think it might be something that somebody said, and I'm like, yeah, that's actually a good idea. It's like, because I could easily just be like, nah, the way I do it is right. Like it's always been working.
I'm doing everything perfect.
Yeah.
There's no way it's my fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I mean, when we failed, I obviously, like, I felt like most of the blame. I felt most of like we lost because of me.
Yeah.
And that's also like part of it, I think, is that I had to like come out of that like mindset that, I mean, it was my fault, but like I'm not saying that, oh, I need to like do everything for like the skill. Like that's not the mentality that I came out with. And it was more like, I have to like learn how to delegate. I need to like learn how to trust like my own like guildmates' calls, and then I should be able to like bring them into this role and like, trust that they have like the same like sound judgment. And I think that mid WoW, actually, we had that adjustment. T-Sun and Vamp started like making plays and like shot calling too on their own basis. And I was like, wow, this is actually like working out. Like I should really trust my guildmates more. And like it's not all me. So it was a lot to learn as like, as like personally like as a shot caller. And two is like I said, going against you, I was like, yeah, there is like a lot to learn, huh? It's not all gonna work out.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciated that you would in I don't know who the fuck is saying that in Angel Link, but that's shame on that person.
I enjoy it.
Shame on that person, because I personally think that there's like plenty to learn with you shot calling and Angel Link.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just fun seeing like the landscape and like the other servers for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for like the recap for the woes, right? Like, you guys have any other closing statements? Any questions before we?
Are you woeing again? Sorry, what was that, Maven? You cut out.
We need to find a server where we can all play War of Imperium, whether it's against each other or together.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like there's a lot of really good, talented people, but we don't have a server where we can all meet. So if we can't meet from within the official server, maybe we gotta make ways as a community for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an idea. Like, if Gravity isn't planning to do a server merge at any point, then I don't know. Because that sounds like the only possibility that we could all like meet and actually like get better at WoW is an actual like server merge between like the guilds that are, actively like competing in WoW. Because I'm sure like not every guild in every server is like
interested
a WoW guild, yeah, or as interested in WoW. So it'd be good for like the WoW oriented guilds in each server to like compete against each other for sure.
Yeah, there used to be old RO servers where it's literally just War of Imperium.
Yeah.
I don't mean to advertise private servers. I don't know if it's something you're against, but there are private servers in a sense where it's like you don't have to worry about the leveling, you don't have to worry about the gears, everyone's on the same footing, there's nothing OP, and it's literally just walk in, set your stuff, set your skills, and it's War of Imperium every day.
Yeah.
I would love for a server like that to exist.
Yeah, and I was hoping for this server to be it. For NARU to be it, because like after playing KR, it was like I was like, yeah, this is what RO1 should have been, like all these other features that made like all these like builds viables, the cores and mercenaries. It's like when you think about it, like back before like they had that whole hacking like incident in Gravity, they had mercenaries just like this planned out, like probably like better versions even planned out for RO1, and then when all got deleted, it all kind of like just stopped existing, and we got like a half-assed version of it later down the line. So I was really looking forward to this one, and it's just unfortunate that it's not as well managed as it should be, because it does have a lot of potential. Okay, yeah.
Pray to the RO gods, guys. Yeah. That's all we have. Anyways, thanks for having me, Fatty.
Yep.
Yeah,
always a pleasure, bro.
Always
a pleasure having you guys, man. Thanks for coming too. But yeah. Hopefully next week. But what was it? Somebody had a question earlier. I just didn't know. I know you guys like spoke at the same time. I couldn't quite hear.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you were actually going to pouring.
Pouring next. I don't know.
I know you have a character here.
Oh, you! I had that novice, the super novice. He's not gonna do shit, bro.
I think you guys need to like lend. You guys have to lend him an account.
Some crew will boost you.
No, you have to lend him an account because I think that's what MIC is willing to do. I think he's played on a few members' accounts that no longer play. I believe Whiplash doesn't play anymore. I believe so.
Yeah.
I think that was like in the possession of one of their guild mates, and then they just like gave it to Fatty. So if you guys have one of those, that's because I don't know if a super novice is gonna do much.
I'll look for an account for you if you guys are interested in playing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Me too. Actually, I'd be down.
Yeah.
All right, I'll scout for you guys, and you guys don't have to play with us if you guys want to play against us or even start something. That's perfectly fine.
Whichever.
I think all of us should just be able to play against each other, even if it's like not even footing. Just the fact that we can mix things up is actually pretty nice.
Yeah. Did you guys
that
know
sounds really good.
I actually have 100% win rate in GVGs in pouring as a super novice?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Dude, I'm scared.
I had a team.
Like
I had a
he's not wrong. He's also 100% in GVGs as well too. I saw that little fives, Patty. You can't hide.
It was funny. It was 4 champs and then a super novice. Well, I think my pet did more damage than me.
Well, I'll scout for you guys.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
All right, guys. Good stream. Good podcast. Good interviews. Good guests.
Thanks for hosting again. By the way, it's like my favorite part of my Sunday is like this fucking podcast, just because I get to talk to shoot shit with you guys.
Yeah, man. This is one of the times where I wish there was somebody else streaming Rue, but alas, I don't have anybody to.
None.
Oh man. All right, let's just do somebody random on the side here, just to make somebody's. Might as well make somebody's day. Let's see. Oh, my friend of mine, Coco Lily, is actually still streaming. Go raid her. She's actually holy shit. She's still playing New World, bro. Oh my god. That's commendable. I don't think she's ever stopped playing New World. Holy.
I have no fucking clue what that game is.
It's a game made by Amazon. It's a PC game. It's really good. The DVGs in there are really good. It's one of the few times where I was like really happy about it. Just like I was with like, WoW in RO. But
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How's Noah's Heart, the PvP side of it? Is there like any? I have no clue about what like that really game is about.
Yeah, it's really fun. There's like multiple PvP modes, and I've just been like going through all of them. The GVG is like kind of like Battlefield, or like you take certain points, but obviously there's like a lot more nuance to it too. The game has a lot of depth for sure, but if you guys ever think about it, like I'm on server 1 under Dynasty again, and you know me, I'm always looking for people who are willing to compete. But that said, though, let's go ahead and raid Coco and end the podcast here on a good note.